everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Abhisha Gulati and today we will start with chapter number 2 of Psychology Class 12, Self and Personality. Now, this is one of my favorite chapters and this is a very good chapter, and this chapter is very important if you also want to pursue psychology in future. So be very mindful of each and every topic that is covered in this chapter. Also, it has like one of the maximum weightages in CBSE, your board exams. So this chapter is very important. A lot of minute details are covered in this chapter. Whenever I am teaching this chapter, try to make notes of the 1 markers that can come. I will also share some 1 markers with you. I can, in between of the lecture, I will tell you that this question can come for 1 mark, and this question has come for in an MCQ form or in any other form in the past. Okay, so be careful and note down all the 1 markers. Now, chapter's name is Self and Personality, right? So in this chapter, basically we will understand what is self, what is the concept of self, and what is the concept of personality, and how are these two concepts described by psychologists, theorists. What are the different theories of personality? What are the different theories of self? How is self different from personality? Okay. Now, why is it important to learn these things? Self, personality, why is it important to study this? It is important to study the concept of self and personality so that we are able to understand who we are. We are able to identify our uniqueness, our distinctiveness, as we learned in the previous chapter, how we are unique, how we are different from others. We are different because our idea of ourselves and our personality are completely different from others. So it is very important to understand this, and also besides differences, it is important to understand that how we are similar to others in some processes and how we are different from others. So this chapter will help you understand not only your uniqueness but also your similarities. Both self and personality are very intimately related. Your self depends on your personality and personality obviously depends on yourself. Now, before we begin this chapter, I'll give you a very brief overview what is self and what is personality and how they are different from each other. So just look at the screen. Can you see this black dot and this circle? So this black dot is your self and this circle is your personality. It is just a metaphorical way to describe it. There's no diagram given in your book as such, but what I mean is that self is the core of personality. Self is your inside, your covert characteristics, your conscious perception of who you are, your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs, everything that you think about yourself, you feel about yourself, that is yourself. And personality is overt. So self is covert. Covert means covered, hidden from others, only you can see it. And personality is overt. Personality is dependent on yourself. Personality is basically the characteristics that others can see, the characteristics that make you different from others. Okay, I hope I'm clear with the difference between self and personality. So self is basically in the inside. The whole reservoir of your emotions, feelings, thought about yourself is self. And personality is the overt characteristics which others can see. Personality is on the outside, how others are observing you, what is your behavior, what are your experiences on the outside, that is your personality. And personality is more related to the environment around you and obviously related to yourself, but self is more inside. Okay, now let's begin with the chapter now, and a brief introduction is given in your book, so let's just understand it. Self and personality refer to the characteristic ways in which we define our existence, as it's written in your book. So self and personality basically mean the characteristic ways in which you characteristic ways in which you define your existence. Basically, how you're organizing your experiences, how your experiences are showing in your behavior, that is your self and personality. Both are intimately related, both are related to each other. Okay. From common observation, we know that different people have different ideas about themselves. If you ask me, I will say maybe I'm a very humble person. If you ask someone else would say that he or she has a short temper. So everybody has a different perception of themselves, and these perceptions represent the idea of self. Okay, they represent the idea of self. And in the second sentence, different people behave in different ways. So according to different situations, different people behave differently, and their relatively stable behavior. Most of the time, how are they behaving? Most of the time, if I'm calm in situations, even if I'm in stress, then that is reflecting, that is representing my personality. So such relatively stable patterns of behavior represent personality. That is why we say that different people possess different personalities and different people have different views of themselves. Okay. Now, a very interesting topic comes next. How does the idea of self emerge? How do we understand ourselves? When did we actually understand after our birth? When was the first time we understood that we are a being? And when did we have an insight into ourselves? So, how does the idea of self emerges? So basically, one is aware of oneself in the same way that one is aware of other items, other objects in the environment. As a child grows older, the idea of self begins and forms. So what happens is that a child is very young and a newborn baby has no idea of his or herself. A newborn baby sees his or herself as a part of an environment, just like the chair kept in front of you, the table kept in front of you, the bed you are sleeping in. Just like that, the idea of self is present in a newborn baby. And actually, the newborn baby does not know itself. So if you observe a newborn baby in your neighborhood, or if you have a newborn in your family, you would see that the newborn baby may not even think about him or herself, because the newborn does not have any idea of itself right now. But as the newborn baby interacts with the environment, the idea of self begins and its formation starts. So how does its formation start? Its formation starts when baby interacts with the social environment. Parents, friends, teachers, other significant people play a major role in framing the idea of self of a baby. Now, our interaction with other people, our experiences, the meaning we give to our experiences, because experiences can be different. One experience can be given a different meaning by one person, and one experience can be given a completely different meaning by another person. So our experiences, our interaction with the society, the people around us, the environment, they all serve as a basis of ourselves. For example, if a baby is scolded very young by his or her parents, the baby said that you are not worth it, you didn't get a plus star in your exams, then the baby will develop the idea of self based on those experiences. The baby might feel that, okay, maybe I'm really not worth it. So the idea of self is formed with our interaction with others, our own experiences, our experiences with others, and the perception we give to our experiences. Okay, how do we perceive our experiences? That is also very important. Let's move forward. Okay. Now, one more thing that is important for us to understand is that the structure of self is modifiable. We can modify our structure of self wherever we want. It is difficult to modify it, that is another thing. But we can modify how we think about ourselves, how in the light of our own experiences and our experiences with others. For example, the same child who thinks that he or she is not worth it, the child who has been scolded by their parents, reprimanded by them again, time and again, without any major important reason, the same child, if goes to school and has a good teacher, or his or her parents realize that maybe they were frustrated or whatever, the same child will start having a new perception of himself or herself. Maybe the child wins 2 or 3 trophies, maybe the child is great at dance. So the child's structure of self modifies in light of his or her experiences, in light of his or her experiences with others. Now, what is identity? The next topic is identity. Very simple topic. One mark question can come. What is personal identity? What is social identity? Any MCQ can be given to you. Now, whenever you enter your school or your college, you wear an identity card. The identity card shows you who you are, basic details about you, your description, right? So something very similar to an identity card, or I just give that example to explain the meaning of identity. Your identity is how you are describing yourself. So every person has a personal identity and a social identity. So every person has a personal identity and a social identity. Okay. Now, what is your personal identity? Personal identity are those attributes that make you different from others. Those specific details that are only and only personal to you. Those attributes, those qualities that make you very unique, that make you different from others. For example, your qualities, your characteristics, you're good in dance, you're honest, your potentialities, your capabilities, your beliefs, all these come in personal identity. For example, I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in destiny. I believe in the strength of willpower. I am Bhisha. I am Sanjana. I am Kareem. I am very hardworking. I am very humble. I am an introvert. I am an extrovert. These all are your personal identity because you have attached these descriptions to yourself. Okay. Now comes your social identity. What is social identity? Social identity is basically those aspects of your personality that relate you to a society, to the society, to a social or a cultural group, or maybe they are derived from that. For example, your religion. Your religion is maybe derived from a bigger cultural group, or you are related to that cultural group because of your religion. Your culture, your religion, your culture, your nationality, all these things are derived from a bigger social group, or they link you to a bigger social group. For example, I'm North Indian, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Punjabi, I'm a Hindu, I am an Indian, I am an African, or I am a South American, whatever it is. So these descriptions characterize the way people mentally represent themselves. This is an important line because identity is how you mentally represent yourself. Mentally represent yourself as a person. Okay. Now we have come as far as here. We have understood how the idea of self develops in a baby, how a person grows up with his own interaction and understands himself or herself for themselves. Now, let us understand what is self after all. How do we define self? It is very difficult to define self, honestly, but the book has NCERT has a very beautiful definition of self, and it comes for 1 marker. You can either learn this definition verbatim, or since you just have MCQs for this portion of the chapter, you can understand it in depth, and you will maybe be given a question. Identify dash refers to the totality of an individual, so you have to fill that, okay, this is the definition of self, or this is the definition of personality. So it is very easy to understand. What is self? Self is the totality. Self is the totality of our conscious experiences. Conscious experiences. Mark the word conscious, okay? I will explain this. Conscious experiences, ideas, thoughts, feelings with regard to himself or herself. Basically, conscious basically means that is in your knowledge, that you know. So, self is all those conscious experiences. Now we're not talking about unconscious here. I don't know if you know this concept yet, because this concept will be covered later in later part of the chapter. But self is basically those experiences that you are conscious about, those ideas, those experiences, those thoughts. What are my ideas about myself? What are my thoughts about myself? How do I think about myself? What are my feelings when I think about myself with regard to himself or herself? So this is the totality. Self is a bigger concept that includes all those experiences, thoughts, feelings about himself or herself. Okay, I hope it's clear. If you have any doubts, just let me know in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to help you out. Now, these experiences and ideas define the existence of our environment, both at personal and social level. So, self helps you, or these experiences define your existence at both an individual level and a social level, because your social self, your individual self, personal self, all these come under yourself, right? Whenever you think about yourself, your thoughts and ideas and experiences about yourself, you also think about you are an Indian, you are a member of a society. Also think about I am a student, I am a school student, maybe I'm a teacher. So all these things are both your personal self and individual, at individual level and at social level, right? Okay. Okay, now self as a subject and self as an object. This is a very interesting topic. Okay, now the idea of self can be viewed in two ways. First is object and second is subject. Now, whenever you view the idea of self, you can view it in two ways. First, that you can view the idea of self in a way that you are doing something, you are active. Okay, so an individual's idea of self, so myself can be viewed in a way that I am active, I am doing something, I am a dancer, I am a knower, I am active in a process, I'm engaged in a process of knowing myself. So that is self as a subject. So you understand it as two point of views. Theoretically, how do you view self? The concept of self can be viewed theoretically in two ways. First, that the concept of self can be viewed that self is something that is doing something. Self is something that is actively engaging in a process. Self is an active individual, and self is executing functions, processes by which individual is thinking, remembering, perceiving different things. So self as a subject means that the self is a knower. The self is actively knowing something. Okay. For example, I am a dancer. I am a musician. I do something. Okay. Let's take an example of I get hurt. Okay, so here I am getting hurt. Now comes self as an object. Okay, self as an object is something on which environment is acting on. Now just look at this diagram. Self is this dot. As an object, environment is acting on it, and as a subject, this dot is doing something on its own. Okay, so self is something on which the environment is acting upon. That is the view of self as an object. So self is getting known by the environment. The environment is influencing themselves. It's basically people's attitude towards themselves, or the picture you're painting about yourself. And here the self is passive in nature, the environment is active in nature. Okay, now let us just not go into too much details. What it basically means is that self can be viewed as something that is doing something, or maybe something on which something has been done. So I give an example of self as a subject is I am hurt. So self as an object of the same example would be others hurt me. So here you are just an object on which environment is acting upon. But self as a subject, in self as a subject, you are a subject who is doing something to get hurt. Okay, so you can view self in these different ways, and a lot of 1-marker questions come on this. So let's just read it out, what is written in the notes or in the NCERT, one and the same thing. Self can be understood as a subject and an object. Now, sometimes the self is acting as a subject, sometimes the self is acting as an object. It has a dual status, basically. And we should always remember that self is an amalgamation. Self is both a subject and an object. It is a combination of both of them. Okay. Now, when you say, I know I am a dancer, or I know who I am, the self is basically described as a knower, as well as something that is known. So I know who I am. So I know you are a subject, you are knowing something. And what do you know? You know who you are, which is an object. You can also think of it this way, like you do in English, subject and object in a sentence. If that makes you understand this concept, you can think of that in that way. Okay. Now, self can be understood as both subject and object. As a subject, the self actively engages in the process of knowing itself. As an object, the self gets observed and gets known. Now, this dual status of self should be kept in mind. So, a 1-marker question could be, what is the dual status of self, or something like a sentence is given, is self a subject here or is self an object here? Okay. Let's move forward. Now, there are different kinds of self. Okay, very important, very interesting, very easy to understand. Now, I'll give you some examples first. I am a dancer. First example. I am a mother. Second example. I'm not. It's a hypothetical example. Okay, it's a hypothetical example. I am a dancer. I am a mother. I am hungry. These are 3 examples. The first example, I am a dancer, tells me my personal qualities, what I am primarily concerned with, what is my idea of myself, what is my personal achievement. I am a dancer. The second, I am a mother, tells me who I am in relation to others, what is my role in the society, how do I view myself in relation to others. So this is your social self. Okay. And the third, I am hungry, tells us just your biological need. So that is a biological self. Now let us understand it one by one. Biological self is the first cell that emerges when you are a baby and you suddenly start crying. You understand that I am crying. So you are crying. That is your view of yourself. Or maybe that suddenly you just feel a sort of hunger and you cry for milk. So you understand, I am hungry. That is a biological self that develops. And when this biological self interacts with your environment slowly and steadily, your personal self develops. So personal self is just an offshoot of your biological self. Okay. Now, the personal self leads to an orientation when you're primarily concerned about yourself. So basically, your biological needs lead to the development of biological self. But as soon as your psychological needs, your social needs emerge, they lead to the development of your personal self. So personal self, you can say that personal self develops due to your biological needs, your psychological needs, your social needs. Okay. And biological self is just your biological needs. That is the difference between the two. Okay. Now, personal self includes your personal achievements, your personal responsibility, your comfort, everything. You basically do you perceive yourself? These aspects only relate to the concerned person. How are you concerned about yourself? Okay, now the third kind of self is social or relational self or familial self. Okay, social, relational comes from relationship, social comes from society, and familial comes from family. All these three are interlinked, and hence they are like used as a synonym of each other. This can come for a 1 marker question. This has been there in your past exams. What is the other name of social self? Or social self is also known as familial self, relational self. Relational self is also known as social self. So this can come for a 1 mark question. So just note it down in your anywhere notes or notebooks. Now, the social self emerges when you interact with others. So it emerges with in relation to others. It emphasizes on different aspects of life such as cooperation, unity, affiliation, then sacrifice. Now this self, this aspect of you, this part of you values family, social relationships. Hence, it is also called familiar self or relational self. Okay. Now, let's wrap up for today. We will continue with cognitive and behavioral aspects of self in the next second part of this video. If you have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section down below. And that is all. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And do hit the bell icon so that you do not miss any videos. I'll be coming with all these videos soon. I'm sorry if I made you wait for a bit. I was occupied in a few other projects. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.